How are British English and American English different? By the channel Lang Focus. Oh my god, I mean, I love this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Oh my god. I'm such a fan of linguistic type of stuff. Oh my god. I mean, the semantic, all that, it's just I love learning languages. I love learning languages. I cannot hide that, and I love learning the etymology of words. I mean, all the good stuff that comes with it. I plan to react to something different today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So yeah, learn something new, shall we?
Welcome to the Lang Focus channel, and my name is Paul. Today we'll be answering the question, how are British English and American English different? One of the most commonly asked questions by learners of English. And hopefully native speakers of English will learn a thing or two from this video as well. The truth is that both British English and American English have numerous varieties. In other words, various accents and dialects. So for the main part of this video, I'll try to focus on the most standard, non-regional variety of each one. Disclaimer, I'm not American, I'm actually Canadian, but I'm confident that we will someday be Americans after the invasion. Standard Canadian English is very, very close to general American English, so I will say the American English samples myself, unless there's some specific need to distinguish between American and Canadian pronunciation. There are several ways in which British English and American English are different: vocabulary, accent, spelling, and grammar. Vocabulary. Let me just throw a bunch of examples at you. In the US, people generally say garbage or trash, while in the UK, they generally say rubbish, both literally and figuratively.
The game was rubbish.
The game was rubbish! No, I cannot do a British accent.
Americans go on vacation, while Brits go on holiday. And that's also possible in American
holiday.
English. In the US, people rent apartments, while in the UK, they rent flats.
Yeah.
In the US, if your apartment is at street level, then you live on the first floor, and the person above you lives on the second floor. In the UK, you live on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, I never understood this stuff. What the fuck? This is the right way. Come on, this is the ground floor and this is the first floor. What the hell? I never understood that. I think I watched a video. I think it was Emily in Paris that first brought that problem up. And I was like, what? What is she saying? Is she insane? And then I later realized that pretty much everyone outside of Europe see these things in that way. So I don't know. We are the weird ones. We are the weird ones. We gotta. I mean, if it's only us doing that, we are the weird ones. Come on, let's just admit it.
Ground floor, and the person above you lives on the first floor. If that person above you is unable or
wait. Elevator. Fuck. I know this one. No, I don't know it.
Just too lazy to take the stairs, in the US, they'd take the elevator. In the UK,
the lift. Fuck off.
Take the lift. When you're bored at home, in the US, you might turn on the TV.
The telly. Come on, I watched so many times Doctor Who.
While in the UK, you would turn on the telly. When you step outside of your building to go for a walk, in the US, you might walk on the
sidewalk. Oh, oh my god, I know this one too. Why I can't speak English? Sidewalk and the pedestrian.
Sidewalk, while in the UK,
pavement.
You walk on the pavement. And if you're tired of walking, in the US, you might take the subway.
The subway, the railway. Oh, wait. Fuck, I've been to London last year. The subway, underground rail station. The underground, right?
Wait, in the UK,
the underground.
In the US, it's perfectly okay to
pants and you say trousers, right?
Wear pants when you're riding the subway. But in the UK, you'd better wear some trousers too, because pants means underpants. And specifically, women's underpants are sometimes referred to as knickers in the UK. So when someone overreacts to something, in the US, you might say, don't get your panties in a bunch. But in the UK, you would say,
don't get your knickers in a twist.
Paul, how dare you be so crude? Now I can't show this video to my 6-year-old students.
Oh, don't even worry about that. They'll just watch it on their phones during recess. Going back to the word pants for a moment, it can also be used in British English as an adjective, meaning something is crappy or it sucks.
Oh, I didn't
For
know
example,
that.
That album is pants.
in
That's the
American
first
English,
time I
you
hear
might
it.
say, that album sucks. Accent. So for the US, I'll try to focus on general American English, and for the UK, I'll try to focus on received pronunciation. These are the accents you're likely to hear on CNN and the BBC, respectively. R sounds. American English is rhotic, meaning that R sounds are always clearly pronounced. British English is non-rhotic, meaning that the R sound is not pronounced unless it's followed by a vowel sound. Listen to the difference. My father's in the car.
My father's in the car.
Let's focus on two words. Father,
Father.
car.
Car.
Notice that the final R sound is not pronounced in British English. Father ends in a simple schwa vowel, like father. And in car, the vowel sound is lengthened in place of the R sound.
Car.
Now, the thing about British non-rhotic accents that I find pretty wild is something called the intrusive R. That means that people sometimes add an R sound to a word that doesn't actually have one if it's followed by a vowel in the next word. For example, in the sentence, I saw a film. In British English, it sometimes sounds like this.
I saw a film.
So you can hear that there's an R sound connecting saw and ah. I once had a British on-the-job trainer, and I remember she said, "Hello, my name is Paula, and I'll be your trainer today." I remember thinking, Paula? What? You can't say your own name? But it wasn't just her, that was the intrusive R.
Wow.
T sounds. In British English, and again, I must emphasize that I'm talking about the accent referred to as received pronunciation.
I think it's kind of like when us Italians speak in English, you know, we always tend to prolong the sounds, maybe like add a vowel sound at the end of the sentence, like I'm Italian. I'm Italian. Yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to make a better example. I feel so stupid right now, so let's move on.
T sounds are pronounced as hard
sounds are-
T's. In other words, voiceless T sounds.
Okay.
In the US, they sometimes sound like D, an alveolar tap instead of T, an alveolar stop. This normally occurs in an unstressed syllable between two vowel sounds, or between a vowel and a rhotic sound, like an R sound. So in the US, people say butter. In the UK,
Butter.
they say
Butter.
in the US,
Butter.
stop fighting. In the UK,
Stop fighting.
you may have also noticed that the O sound in the word stop was a
fighting.
little different.
Okay.
Which brings me
So my accent is more British. Okay, I'm more British. I'm so British right now. Come on.
to O sounds. In the word stop, the American
Stop.
O sound is an unrounded
Stop.
vowel, ah, while the British O sound is rounded, aw. Another example, hot.
Hot.
There's also the O diphthong in the word no. In the UK,
No.
In the UK,
No.
the sound is a schwa followed by an as in put.
Schwa.
Show.
Show.
So,
A sounds. In other words, sounds represented by the letter A. Ah in UK English normally becomes an A sound in American English. For example, in the UK
Half.
half.
and in the US,
L.
half. Words with A in British English remain pretty similar in American English. In the UK
Cat.
and in the US, cat. An exception is a small set of words in which the A is followed by a double R, in which case the vowel is pronounced as eh in the US. In the UK,
Marry.
in the US, marry. Because of the difference, in the US, marry and Mary sound the same. Carry and carry sound the same. Spelling. American and British spellings are largely the same, but there are a few notable differences. This is in large part because Noah Webster, whom the Webster Dictionary is named after, made an effort to reform English spelling in the 1700s, in order to make the words spelled the way they sounded. This resulted in some spelling changes in American English. Most, but not all, words that end in RE in the UK end in ER in the US. For example,
Really?
center, theater, meter.
What? What? Are you serious? Come on. I still remember in school. Come on, we always learned the British English, but I never knew. Oh my god! But if I have to spell these words, if I write a text message, I will always spell it like Americans do. Center, theater, meter, somber. I don't know what that means, but I will always spell it like that. I didn't think you can even spell it this way. That is crazy, especially the meter one and the theater. Bro, what? That's crazy. I mean, it's more similar to Italian, so I guess it's more similar to other European languages, the spelling. Yeah, I mean, wow. That's really interesting. I love it.
Somber. Some words that end in NCE in the UK are spelled with NSE in the US. License, defense,
Bro, what?
offense.
Oh, yeah,
Some words
that
with
one
O.
I noticed. That one I noticed. That one, oh my god, I'm so weird. That one I write it more like the British people do.
U in the UK are spelled with O in the
Oh,
US.
you.
Color, favor,
Oh.
honor, labor, etc.
Yeah, I think both
The
ways
ending
are okay,
ISE
no?
became IZE in the US. Organize, apologize.
Bro, that is insane.
A similar change also occurs in
What
other
the
contexts
hell?
where the S is voiced. In other words, it makes a Z sound. Analyze, cozy. There are verbs
Wow.
ending with L that take a doubled L in British English when a suffix is added. In American English, there's no double L. Traveled, cancelled, marvelous. If you're wondering how the last one fits in with the others,
What?
remember that marvel is a verb, and then an adjectival suffix is added to it.
That's not true. Marvel is a superhero.
Grammar. There are only very minor grammatical differences between British English and American English. Auxiliary verbs. British people use shall for the future much more than
Shall
Americans,
I?
as well as to ask for advice or an opinion.
But I think I never heard an American say shall. I mean, I watched tons of American movies and TV series. I can't remember once that I heard shall I. It's mostly like could I. I don't know. Shall I sounds so British.
Some difference in preposition use. In the US, people say on the weekend, but in the UK, they say at the weekend. And in
Wow.
the US, people say different from or different than, but in the UK, they say different from or different to.
It's so confusing.
There are some
English
different
is
past tense
impossible to
forms.
learn.
For example, in American English, the past tense of the word learn is learned, while in British English, it's more common to say learnt. Actually, both forms are used in either country, but there is more of a tendency towards one form. This is true for other words like dreamed versus dreamt, burned versus burnt, leaned versus lean.
Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. I always thought that that was another yes, it's the past, I know, but like dreamt and dreamed, I thought there were two different ways of using the past. I didn't think it was the same. Bro, oh my god, this is crazy. This is totally crazy.
Etc.
Oh my
Another
god.
example. In the US, the past tense of dive is usually dove. In the UK, it's dived. Maybe the American form developed by analogy with drive and drove. Anyways, differences like these are not consistent, but you'll notice some different past tense forms here and there. Past participles. Sometimes past participles have a different form. The most well-known example is for the verb get. In the US, there's get, got, gotten. But in the UK, it's get, got, got. Both forms, got and gotten, have existed since the Middle English period, but gotten has fallen out of use in the UK. Got can be used in American English in the form have got, but with the meaning of have, not have received or have become. I haven't gotten the eviction notice yet.
I haven't got the eviction notice yet.
Alright,
sounds
let's
the
check a
same
couple more
anyway.
sentences and see what we encounter. In the US, I think we need a lawyer. In the UK,
I reckon we need a solicitor.
you'll notice that a couple of words here are
Wow.
different. British people often use the word reckon, which means think or suppose.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, okay, fine. Reckon, I can. I mean, a few times I went to the US, I heard so many people say reckon, but a solicitor. That's the first time I hear it. I mean, I think maybe they will say, I reckon we need a lawyer. If from the UK, please tell me if that's actually true, because it seems like something that yes, it's correct, but nobody use it in a spoken form, you know, like in a formal or informal situation. That says way too much. Come on, I don't
Americans
know.
know this word, but rarely use it. And while Americans would typically refer to a professional legal consultant as a lawyer, In the UK, they often say solicitor, which is
they
a type of lawyer
often
that does
say-
consultation.
wow.
The type of lawyer who represents you in court in the UK is usually a barrister, while in the US, they're usually referred to as attorneys.
Attorneys. Wow.
Another sentence. In the US, I'm going for a beer with my friends. In the UK,
going for a pint with my mates.
Yes.
notice that British people often say pint,
Pint,
where
yes.
Americans would say beer. Brits also say beer as a countable noun like this, but pint is frequently used. And notice that Brits often say mate, where Americans would say friend. The differences between British English and American English might seem surprising or amusing, but remember, in this video I'm zooming in on the differences and focusing on them. For the most part, they're actually the same. There are some minor differences in vocabulary, in pronunciation, in grammar, and in spelling, but any native speaker with a little bit of exposure to the other will quickly adapt to these differences and be able to understand the other variety without any problem. The differences are sometimes greater if we focus on regional dialects and sociolects of British
Yeah.
English and American English.
Of
While
course.
most Americans probably have no trouble understanding received pronunciation, they may have some trouble understanding Cockney English or the Geordie accent of northeastern England or other varieties.
Fuck off! Actually, I have a funny story. I lived there for... I went there to visit my friend that was staying there. And I stayed with him for, I think, 2.5 months or 3 months or something like that. And I couldn't understand any fucking thing. I went there like to practice my English, to understand it better. And I would always watch like these TV shows or I don't know, talk to people online, and I could understand pretty much everything. I could communicate, but whenever I go out and the people would talk to me with that accent, I'd be like, what? I remember I found a place that I would go often to drink, and the bartender was from Manchester or someplace like that. I don't remember exactly, and he would speak like in a very British accent, you know. So I could understand everything and communicate with him. Then another guy comes at me, starts talking to me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you even saying? That's crazy. That accent is so difficult to understand. I heard that even British people have a hard time understanding the Geordie accent. So yeah, I mean, me as a poor Italian over there in a faraway land, I was so lost.
But as far as standard non-regional speech goes, I'd say that the differences are minimal. However, learners of English who focus on one of the two varieties will likely have a little bit of trouble understanding the other until they gain significant exposure to it. The question of the day: what other differences between American and British English are you aware of? In this video, I was only able to give a limited number of examples, so add yours in the comments. Be sure to follow LangFocus on Facebook.
I don't know, let me know down in the comment section which other differences can you name on the top of your head. This was very interesting and educational. I really love his videos. Come on, this is such a great job. I watched pretty much most of his videos. I do have other reaction channels. You can find it actually if you go to the homepage, you know, if you click on subscribe, that's what you should do first if you're not yet subscribed. And then scroll down, you will see all the list of my other channels where I react to other countries, other cultures as well. So yeah, I react to lots of his videos and very interesting. And I feel like also, I mean, I said at the beginning that I really do like to learn languages. So if you're learning a foreign language, my advice to you is not to just focus on one particular accent only. Yeah, at the beginning, of course, you know, you're gonna get your book to learn. You're gonna find some people to communicate with, maybe some TV shows or anything, maybe even some YouTube channels, some podcasts to listen to, and then you should just focus on that language. But once you start to understand a little bit the language, you can communicate a little bit with the people, you should start to focus on maybe other regions where the language is spoken, or other countries, in the example of maybe Spanish or Portuguese or German or whatever other language you want to learn. Because it makes it so much fun. You can learn about different cultures and you will never get bored of the language, because maybe in one country you cannot find enough material to learn, but you find it in another country or another region where they speak the language. So I would say keep an open mind and the process will be even more fun. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you in my next one.